All right, I'm going to do a screencast real quick of filing a 1040, for taxpayer Melinda Flowers. So on this document, you're going to have the main information that you need for Melinda Flowers. In her scenario, she's 18, she lives with her parents, she's going to be headed to college in the fall, and she worked 10 hours a week during her senior year at a local ice cream shop at 40 hours a week, and 40 hours a week during the summer. So here we have her W-2, and remember, the W-2 is a document that gives us information on how much money you made at a particular job over the course of the year, and also how much you've paid in taxes. So let's go ahead and get started. I have the PDF of the 1040 here that I'll be filling out as we go along. So we're going to go ahead and open up the W-2 for Melinda Flowers. And I'm just going to zoom in so it's a little bit easier to see. Here. All right, so we're going to start with her contact information. So this information here, we're going to put on the 1040. So the person is Linda S. Flowers. They gave us a generic Social Security number, 987 XXXX. Okay. She is not married, so she has no return for her spouse. Her home address was right here, 456 Central Drive, San Diego, California, 92101. I keep on forgetting. What was it? Central Drive. And then it was $92101. All right. If we look back at our cheat sheet, we see that it is showing us that information in terms of what we need for filling it out. So starting with the first thing, this cheat sheet here is what I'm calling it. It says for virtual currency, we say no. So going to the 1040 for virtual currency, where it says at any time during 2020, did you receive, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in virtual currency, we're going to say no. For the standard deduction, because Melinda lives at home with her parents, we're going to say that someone can claim her as a dependent. We can skip the part about age and blindness and the part about dependents because she has no children, and we can get into the numbers. So line number 1 is asking wages, salaries, tips, etc. from form W-2. So going back to Melinda's W-2, which I think I'm going to go ahead and download this so it shows up as a PDF. Here we go, a little bit more ease of use. Right here in this first box is how much she made for the year, $12,741. We're going to put this here. On our cheat sheet, it says assume 0 for each value for lines 2A through 8. So we're going to go ahead and enter those zeros. So 0 here. Here, 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 here. You get the drift. Okay. All it is trying to see if she has any other income, and she does not. So for line 9, where it says at lines 1, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7, and 8, this is your total income. You're going to put this number here. For line number 10, adjustments to income. I want to say the cheat sheet says that those say right here, 10A through C, no adjustments to income. So we're going to put zeros here and here. It says at lines 10A and 10B, this is the total adjustments to income. That remains at 0. For number 11, subtract line 10C from line 9. This is your adjusted gross income. 0 from 12,741 would be 12,741. For line 12, it starts talking about the standard deduction or itemized deductions. If we look here, it says that the standard deduction for your single or married filing separately is $12,400. We've talked about that number several times as we got into this unit on taxes. So her standard deduction is $12,400. That means that out of the total amount of money she makes, she can deduct $12,400 from that, and then anything after that is what she's paying taxes on. 13, qualified business income deduction. On our cheat sheet, it says that she does not have any of that. There's also something on the cheat sheet about line 12, but we've taken care of that. So for line 13, that's going to be a 0. For 14, where it says at lines 12 and 13, we're left with the $12,400. For line 15, we're trying to figure out her taxable income. So we're going to subtract line 14 from line 11. So $12,400 from $12,741 is going to leave us with $341. All right, so now moving on to the back. For line 16 is her tax. So we're going to have to look at the number that's on line 15 in the tax table. If we go take a look at the cheat sheet, there is a link here for that tax table. And we're going to go to line 66 here. When looking at numbers on the tax table, you're finding where that number lies between the at least but less than. So let me close this out here so it's a little bit easier to see and zoom in. Our number is 341. 341 falls between 325 and 350. So that number that we're using, because we're talking about the single column, is 34. So back on the 1040, we're putting 34 here. That represents the amount of money that she has to pay in taxes. Going back to the cheat sheet, let me close this up. For 17, 19, 20, and 23, it says assume 0 for that value. So we're going to put zeros there. I think it was 19. What do we say? 17, 19, 20, 20, and 23. All right. So 18 says add lines 16 and 17. That leaves us with 34. 21 says add lines 19 and 20. So that is, sorry, where am I at? 21 says add lines 19 through 20. So that's a 0. For 22, subtract 21 from line 18 is 0 or less into 0. So we are left with 34 after doing that math. 24 says add lines 22 and 24. That leaves us with 34. So we have no changes to that. She's expected to pay $34 in taxes. For this line, when we're looking at the Form W-2, to find the federal income tax withheld, we see that she paid $534.96 in taxes. That's going to go on line 25A. $534.96. Our cheat sheet says that she had no, where are we at? Assume no 1099 form or other forms. Goes on to say that for 26, assume no estimated tax payments or amounts for 2020. So we're going to go back in here, 0 for this and this. So no other tax forms, no other forms showing how much she paid in taxes. 25D, it says at lines 25A through 25C. That leaves us with still $534.98. For 26, the estimated 2020 tax payments, that's where it said assume 0 for that as well. For 27 through 31, if we check that cheat sheet, No one in our scenario is eligible for these credits. Assume 0 for all. So we're going to go ahead and plug in those zeros here. 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. For number 32, it says add lines 27 through 31. So that gives us a 0. So there's no other additional payments that was made for taxes, just what's on the W-2. Add line 33 says add lines 25D, 26, and 32. This is your total payment. So we'll end up with $534.96. Now, there's only going to be two situations. Either you're getting a refund or you owe. So whatever makes sense in terms of what works with the math is what you're left with. Line 34 says if line 33 is more than line 24, and we can see that line 33 is more than line 24, you're going to subtract 24 from line 33. This is the amount that you overpaid. So $34 from $534.96 leaves us with $500.96. That's how much she overpaid. So that means she is getting a refund of $500.96. Line 35A talks about the amount of line 34 you want refunded to you. You want all of your money. No need to have the federal government hold on to something that does not belong to them. So you want all of your money. So from there, you can have the option to do direct deposit, which is going to be your quickest route of depositing your money to check. You would have to have your routing number, your account number, and then you would receive a direct deposit. So that is a very simplified way to file taxes. For someone that's in a similar situation where you're single, filing as a dependent, someone can file you as a dependent. You have no dependents. You just have a W-2 or a couple W-2s. You just would add the numbers if need be. But super simplified version of the 2022 1040.